This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
All right, moving forward, we have a friend who's been a part of the show for many, many months now, and I always find his big brain and his creativity very interesting, actually. And then he introduces me to people from here and there, and I'm like, yeah, let's put him on air. Why not? So Frank Dumas said, you got to speak to Toby Carroll and Jean-Philippe Beaudet, I believe. Beaudet, is it Beaudet?
It will be Beaudet, yeah.
Beaudet, and we are talking to individuals from KinectHub, which is impacting the healthcare industry with their blockchain platform powered by the Zeu technology. Hi, Toby. Hi, Jean-Philippe. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Todd. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem. That was Toby?
Yes.
That was Toby, yeah.
Thank you for having me on the show. That's Jean-Philippe.
Yeah, I see. You know what I'm doing here, fellas, is I'm determining this and deciphering it because of the accents.
Yes, you might.
Yeah, mine's a good mix.
So, Toby, whereabouts are you?
So I'm based in New York, New York and London, but our team sort of spread around the globe. But I'm in New York right now.
And Jean-Philippe?
I'm in Montreal. Most of our team are in Montreal.
And that team being KinectHub, I find that this is a fascinating thing you're doing, helping out with the healthcare industry across the world. Why don't you take the reins and let me know what KinectHub, by the way, with that KINECT, is doing?
Yeah, sure. Kinect's a health-focused company using cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. And our mission has been and continues to be really to save lives and improve the health of billions of people in third world countries primarily, where diseases are rampant and the public health system and the general health of the population is really poor due to lack of infrastructure, poor health management, underpaid and underskilled workers and things like that. So we've been working for 3 years to change all that, and more, for the last year and a half, been using technologies like blockchain and AI, and working alongside the large global non-government organizations, the big charities of the world, and directly with the governments themselves in these countries to improve the overall health populations by using these technologies. And currently we're operating in 5 countries in Africa and India. And where our business model has been succeeding, where others failed, is that these new technologies allow us to provide these desperately needed software systems that were in the past very expensive, and governments couldn't afford them in these countries, and other services that they need to effectively and better manage the patient health and the treatment programs, and provide incentives, which is an innovative approach nobody's tried in these countries before, to try and reduce corruption by paying doctors and nurses to do the right thing rather than taking medicines and selling them on the black market, and paying patients who, generally speaking, have poor education about their health, and they don't understand they need to stick to treatment programs, and monitoring the billions of dollars a year that go into these countries through the big charities and NGOs. And at the moment, a lot of that gets lost through corruption in the system. And we managed to track all of that using blockchain. And we do this at no cost to the governments, the charities, the hospitals, or the patients. And the new technologies that we're implementing allow us to provide that on a sustainable basis, but still be profitable enough so that we can expand and save more lives. And how do we do all of that? The data, of course, is very valuable. And while the new technologies allow privacy to be protected and the individuals themselves, the patients, to have the right to opt in or opt out and they get paid for it if they opt in, to go into medical research to help pharmaceutical companies and university medical researchers to develop more effective drugs and ways to help improve the health in these populations. So, in a nutshell, that's what we do.
That's, I mean, it's fantastic that you're doing that. And you know, here in Canada, I feel like we probably often take for granted our healthcare system, and really how fortunate and privileged we all are. Granted, we pay high taxes for it, and you know, but still, at the end of the day, you can if you ever get sick, you know, you might have a little bit of a lineup, but that's the least of our worries or concerns. The fact is, we will be taken care of, and you know, the rest of the world is pretty dire, isn't it? You know, what made both you, Toby, and you, Jean-Philippe, really get involved to not only offer services that appear very free, but also you know, very accessible to really help out so many when it comes to what I would like to say should be life's almost necessities. Like, it's amazing to think that this just isn't offered in every country in all the in every country in the world.
On my side,
sure. I'll go first. No, you go, JP.
I've been amazed by the project that Kinect when we met a few months ago, because the first thing that I saw in this was to create a sustainable economy that will not only tackle corruption but bring healthcare to people. And I think that this kind of model could be replicated using blockchain and tokenization and big data infrastructure to be replicated in much other industry and area that we don't foresee for now. So they are proving a new economic model, and this is, for me, a great testament.
Yeah. Go ahead, Toby.
Okay, sure. I mean, how did I get involved in all this, and where did the idea come from? I've been working and living in emerging markets across the globe, from Eastern Europe to Middle East and now Africa and South America. And Asia, and I've living in these countries for 15 years. You see these problems, and it's very poor. I mean, the health systems in first world countries aren't the best themselves, but it's something totally extraordinary just to see so many people dying on a daily basis in these countries for simple things that can be provided and changed, and the new technologies. Really, by, as JP mentioned, creating sustainable economic models, so everybody benefits, and the people on the ground get all this for free. Is really going to, it is getting a lot of interest and traction because so many lives will be saved.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, that's really what we want to do, is have social responsibility and social care for humans, not just close to us, but all across the globe. Is there, not to sound too sort of dark or dire, but, can we solve this problem? Can we get free healthcare to every citizen at some point on this planet?
I believe so. I mean, you certainly can get free benefits and free, technologies and health management systems, and the ability for people to have universal health. I mean, why is it if you go to a doctor in one city in the U.S. and you can't, they don't have your records, they can't treat you properly in another city or another state? It's because your your record system and the history of your health could easily be transportable and readily available to anybody, but we don't have that sort of global technology infrastructure. And when you start with that, then you can work down to other things like ways to provide cheaper medicines and by utilizing a lot of that data, which could be more easily accessible and widely available. So that I think it would be possible, but it starts at that level, the technology level, and putting the management of health back into the individual. It's one of our themes at KinectHub. Is personal health care. So when people start taking responsibility for their personal health, and it's very difficult to do that if you don't have your full record of health that you could look at any time on your phone. And you could get advice, which our system does, on things you can do to improve your lifestyle and reduce the risk of this disease, or help manage diabetes and issues like that. So it is possible long term, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you make. I know, for instance, my doctor, growing up, my family doctor, as they get older, they die. And he died, and for some reason, the records weren't transferred over. So my entire medical history was just sort of wiped away. And, you think of the blockchain, and for my audience who I think understands a lot to do with the blockchain, just because I've spoken with many different blockchain companies, including the Zeu Crypto Networks and others, is that, here we are with like something that would be secure, safe, and would be on there and accessible to those who needed it, and wouldn't go anywhere. They would be stored. It would be backed up. And I think that is something that moving towards the future makes a lot of sense to me. So, even when I'm 80 one day, you can look back to see what happened to me at 46 and really have a clue on that. Are medical records not really stored that well in current systems, guys?
Well, in the third world countries, they're basically stored on paper. And, for example, you walk into a clinic in Cameroon with beds, there is literally more stacks of paper just stacked all around the place than there are beds for patients.
Wow.
And when they're treating people, I mean, they just don't know if it's the same person they're treating on a week by week basis. The piles of paper are so immense that they just can't be bothered in writing new documents. So, I mean, there's really no ongoing regular treatment of people, and it's just a mess. And of course, a lot of the money that's funding all these the medicines and delivery of healthcare in these countries is provided by international donors, contributed like the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates, who we work with, the Global Fund, and these are donated to by the big charities. And there's over $400 billion a year going into charities per annum. And when it's just being wasted like that, because people take the treatment of TB medicine, and then they don't get the next treatment. Well, you bounce back to the starting point, and that's $100 treatment that an international donor just paid for per time. So it's really wasted. And I mean, here, and when you move to the first world countries, at best, you may have a private hospital network your doctor belongs to, and there's a few different places you can go, and your record would be available on their own personal electronic health record. But certainly there's no widespread availability. You can't just move states and, expect that your health records are going to be available, let alone moving countries from, say, the United Kingdom to the U.S., But if it was all on blockchain, that would be possible, yeah.
Toby Carroll and Jean-Philippe Beaudet from KinectHub at KinectHub. Go and give them a follow. KINECT. And the other thing I would imagine too is not only a history of what your medical history is, but a history of allergies to really help people if for some reason you couldn't even talk to a doctor in an emergency. Blood types. It seems like it would be so efficient. How can we make this happen quicker, guys?
We are working on it very strongly.
But I mean, do you go to governments? Do you go to private care? Is it just sort of getting to everyone who's involved in the medical space to say, hey, listen, we can help expedite and help protect data, but also help, basically you treat patients a lot more efficiently, which is one of the biggest flaws in any of the medical systems, is sort of lineups and waits and overcrowdedness and all that kind of stuff. So I really see a massive asset here.
Yeah, look, I think, Todd, the answer to it is public awareness of blockchain, even at a simple understanding level, because there's still a lot of uncertainty about it, and people relate it just to straight Bitcoin, which it's not. The technology of blockchain itself. It can cut out a lot of costs, make things like health records, among other things, transportable and directly accessible anywhere on the globe, and really improve the, not only the healthcare sector, but the education sector, finance, all sorts of sectors of the economy. And it's generating that awareness and understanding and progressive entrepreneurial companies pushing and getting support of the public to implement those technologies, because, of course, there's a lot of, old, tired, inefficient, incumbent players in the healthcare sector and the other sectors as well that are causing a lot of the resistance to these new technologies.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, I know, Jean-Philippe, you're sort of a coder extraordinaire and everything, and really a great creator of a lot of this stuff. But sometimes, and this is just me being candid, is a lot of individuals who are so closely associated, and Frank Dumas being one of them too, from the Zeu Crypto Networks, is sometimes they talk about it on a level that is too intelligent for the average Joe like myself to even understand. And I would imagine even governments or doctors or people like that might be threatened or afraid of the language itself. You need guys like me to dumb this down to people. So, anytime you want me to storm into an office with you, I'll definitely let them know. And I think, listen, Toby, you're doing a great job of not dumbing it down, but speaking to it very clearly. And sometimes language between technology can be lost for kind of everyday understanding. Is that fair to say?
Definitely.
Yeah,
it is more so because of it is a bad branding of the cryptocurrency that probably threw people off at start, because it is not cryptic. It is, on the contrary, the beginning of transparency.
And Toby, you were going to say?
Sorry, just remind me about that question again quickly. What was it?
Oh, just about the lost in translation aspect of the blockchain.
Yeah, look. So, how do we deal with that very simply when we're talking to the government? So we deal directly with ministries of health and big donor organizations, and we've done presentations to entire Ministry of Health staff, and like Sudan and Cameroon and Ethiopia. And obviously, they're not going to understand the technologies behind it, and they don't need to. We just put in very simple front ends. They don't even need to know that. Outside of just saying blockchain's enabling this, they just need a simple way to use whatever technology system you're providing. So as long as the front end, so what they put, the electronic health record is very simple. We make it look like the paper form that they've used, just with drop-down boxes, etc., and just talk really simply about, the results they get out of it rather than the technology itself. That's the way we approach it.
That's great to know. And at the end of the day, your goal, I would imagine, is to not only keep records safe, keep efficiency in the Medicare systems all across this globe much more concise than they are today. But really, at the end of it all, KinectHub, I would imagine, is part of sort of your mission statement, is to really save lives.
Yeah, that's the core of our mission statement. To save lives and improve health. And eventually, once we expand, we're doing, we're listing on an exchange in October, November, Coinbase, to raise more capital, and we want to expand with our direct access to the patients and help improve other aspects of their lives, like providing education. It's the education systems are very poor in these countries, and a lot of that is because how do you reach these people? We will have direct access to that. Although you wouldn't think it, mobile penetration with very basic smartphones, but still a smartphone, in Africa is like 70-80%. Most of them don't have bank accounts, so even if they can barely afford it, they need a smartphone because they live their lives by mobile payments. So, we can utilize that through technology to provide educational aspects of their lives and various other things as well we're looking to go into.
Well, excited to learn more, and we'll catch up down the road. Toby Carroll, Jean-Philippe Beaudet from KinectHub. Real briefly here, gentlemen, in 10 seconds, how can people contact anything to do with KinectHub if they have questions?
Sure, www.KinectHub.com. We've got an email address on that website and a lot of information there for them.
All right, well, good luck with the raise and good luck with the listing, and good luck with saving lives and improving healthcare. We do appreciate your time, both of you gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.